Luke goes backwards. One morning, Luke was in the yard taking on a large supply of coal, when Skarloey puffed in. That's the 9th load of coal you had today, Luke," said Skarloey. Some might say that you've been rather piggy." "I'm an important engine," said. I'm a double tender engine, you know," said Luke. Double tender engines need not 10,000, plenty of coal, and if I doubt it, if you would understand that, Skarloey." Skarloey was furious and went out of his work. Later, Luke was taking on water on the water tower because the standpipe was under repairs. "I wouldn't drink too much of that water. If I were you, Luke," said Thomas. "It might give you boiler ache." "Ha," said Luke. "What's this? Education double tender engine day? First Skarloey and now you, Thomas. Big engines are big knees. Little engines are just annoying." Don't say I didn't warn you," chuckled Thomas. Later, Luke steamed into the yard to pull his goods train. He was ready what he is going to do. And with that, Luke was coupled to the train when suddenly something strange was happening to Luke. He was going backwards. "Hello, that's odd," said Luke. "I'm going backwards." "Someone help," said Luke. "I'm going backwards. Someone help me." But no one heard him. Luke was still going backwards. Up Boulder Mountain and down he went. He went too faster that he was going backwards. He knew what happened to him. "I guess I should have listened to Skarloey and Thomas's advice," he said. Luke knew what happened. He was going too backwards. He was going too backwards that his driver was disappointed. "Luke, what's going on?" he said. "I can't stop going backwards," said Luke. "Goodness," said his driver. "I think we have to stop." But Luke knew what he had done. "I think I should have listened to someone's advice," he said, when suddenly he realized something. He and his driver realized something. The other trucks were still on the right line, and as for the other trucks and Rickety, they all came off the rails. "Help us," said Rickety and the trucks, but it was too late. They came off the rails, and the loads went everywhere. "Help me," said Luke, and his second tender crashed into the blue truck, and the parcels went everywhere. Luke couldn't stop. He knew what he had done. "Help," said Luke. He realized something. He was ready to go inside the mine shaft, and with that, his goods train crashed into the mine shaft. His goods train crashed into the mine shaft. His goods train crashed into the mine shaft, and with that, Luke's 2 tenders crashed into the goods train. Luke had broken down already, and now he couldn't move. "Help me," said Luke, and he knew what happened. Just then, Billy arrived and said this to Luke. "Maybe you shouldn't have gone too backwards," he said. "I know," said Luke sadly. And with that, Luke was out of the Boulder Mountain mine shaft. He was out just in time. While Billy was taking him, "You should have listened to Skarloey and Thomas's advice, you know," he said. "I know how you feel," said Luke. And with that, Billy was ready to take Luke home. Luke was so embarrassed. He knew what happened, and he didn't want to talk about it. While Billy was still taking him home, he knew what happened, and poor Luke himself knew what happened today. He should have felt very embarrassed, and he should be ashamed with himself after drinking too much water and filling himself up with too much coal. He knew what happened. At least he shouldn't have done this at all. Well said, Luke. I know what already happened to me, he said, and he had 3 things to think about: coal, water, and going backwards. And with that, he never felt so embarrassed every year and every day. He never felt so embarrassed every year and every day. And he knew he couldn't trust himself after all. And this made Billy feel really fuming.